Well, new reaction after President Obama's health care law suffers major backlash from some of its once staunchest supporters. 3 of the nation's top unions are now slamming the health care law. Very surprising development here. You've got the Teamsters president, James Hoffa, who applauded the law when it was passed. Back in March of 2010, here's what he said. It was critical that Congress pass this bill to help get our economy moving again. High health care costs are burdening our employers. So that was the thinking then. But how about the change of tune that we've seen in this letter that was written on his behalf and 2 other union leaders to Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid? Now he's saying this: we can no longer stand silent in the face of elements of the Affordable Care Act that will destroy the very health and well-being of the members, along with millions of other hardworking Americans. Joined now by Peter Schaumburg, who served as the chair of the National Labor Relations Board under President George W. Bush. Peter, welcome. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here,
A lot
Martha.
of folks are surprised by this letter, but you say that you're not so surprised.
No, not at all. You know, the unions are haunted now by their prior support of Obamacare, but they're really saying what the Republicans said before. There's no reason to rush through with this bill. There are provisions in the bill which are ill-conceived, which have consequences. You're ignoring those consequences, and those consequences are, 1, going to make Obamacare not affordable, and number 2, it's going to deprive employees of the insurance which the president had said employees could keep.
You know, I think that this is an argument that was going on since the very beginning on this. One of the things they're really, unhappy about is that so many people will be pushed to part-time work because then the employers won't have to cover them. Why would this come as a surprise to the unions, this development?
Well, you know, it shouldn't have, because one of the unintended consequences, I shouldn't say unintended, because I think these consequences were obvious, but they weren't being looked at. It's the employer mandate. What Obamacare does is it requires employers to carry what's called affordable health care. The problem with it is that it is not that affordable because it involves a number of federal government mandates. Now, this applies to employers who have 50 or more employees, essentially, that work 30 hours or more a week. So what our employers are saying, this is going to be expensive coverage. We really can't afford it. So they're cutting down their number of employees, and they're cutting down employees from 30 hours a week to less than that. For example, there was one entertainment company, Regal Entertainment, which not too long ago reduced their non-salaried employees below 30 hours. They own 500 theaters. There was a report done by Kinsey in 2000. Yeah.
You can see, pardon me for the delay, but you can see, why this is so problematic for employees. But, you do wonder what the unions were thinking on this. And now the unions are putting really pretty heavy-handed pressure in this letter. They're saying, you better fix this, and you better fix it soon, because remember, we're the folks that support you when it comes election time.
Well, you know, Martha, the president needed to have the employer mandate, because by having the employer mandate, it reduced participation in what are called the exchanges. And the exchanges are expensive because they provide subsidies. That's why there was a push for the employer mandate. But a lot's been said about the filibuster and taking away the right. All of this, Obamacare, really is a result of one party having a filibuster-proof majority. They didn't think through what they were doing.
It almost feels like what the unions ultimately wanted and what the president has said that he thinks is a more perfect system is a single-payer system. And you wonder sort of where we go from here. And do you see further roadblocks for this? Do you see a future where they say, you know what, we need to rework this whole plan?
I do. Definitely the plan has to be reduced. Personally, I'm a Republican. I think the plan should be repealed. I think we should go back to the table. I think a variety of different incentives should be built in to make health care more affordable, and that has not been done. Take, for example, the individual mandate. And the requirement that you carry your children on your policies up to the age of 26. Also, the individual mandate has a penalty of roughly, I think it's $800 a year, which is less than if you carried the insurance. Since the Obamacare also provides that if you can't be denied coverage if you have a pre-existing condition, there's no reason why young people who are quite bright simply pay the penalty, and if they get a disease, they'll get the insurance. These are the kinds of consequences which weren't thought through.
Yeah, and it seems like common sense looking back at it now. Peter, thank you very much. Good to speak with you
You're
today.
very welcome.